Football transfers are just as unpredictable as the game itself. Some of the best players change teams. For some, it works out perfectly, but for others, not so much. For every bargain, there's a flop in equal measure. The flops have failed to live up to the promise of transfers. Once dream buys, but now nightmare signings. They leave fans scratching their heads and wondering what went wrong. Here are 10 of the biggest flops in transfer history. But before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell for our latest videos. Number 10. Zlatan Ibrahimovic to Barcelona. In the summer of 2009, Barcelona looked to build on their triple winning season. There isn't much you could do to strengthen the Barcelona side, but Barcelona had other ideas. They paid 69 million euros for the legendary Swede, making him the second most expensive signing of all time in 2009. Barcelona even added cult hero Samuel Eto'o to sweeten the deal for Inter. Replacing a sensational 30-league goal striker in Samuel Eto'o meant Zlatan Ibrahimovic had big shoes to fill. Everyone expected big things from Zlatan, and the dream Messi-Zlatan combo had so much promise. Already an established striker, Barcelona expected Zlatan to strengthen their incredible squad. But the exact opposite happened. Zlatan got shipped out on loan after the worst 12 months of his career. You see, Zlatan never really fit the bill for how Barcelona played. Despite being a world-class striker, Zlatan Ibrahimovic was never the Barca type player. He was not a dynamic runner, and he lacked the fluidity to play in multiple positions. During his time at Barcelona, Zlatan scored 22 goals in 46 appearances, but the numbers don't tell the whole story, as Zlatan himself claimed he disappointed himself during his move to Barcelona. Aside from not fitting Barcelona's team style, there's also Guardiola's Ibrahimovic issue. In his own words, Guardiola was a spineless coward who failed to play to his powers. Ultimately, Zlatan would end a desperately tense time at Barcelona with a move to AC Milan. These days, Zlatan has become a legendary figure, leading AC Milan to a Scudetto triumph in 2022. It's safe to say he's put his Barcelona days behind him. Number 9. Dele Alli. Dele Alli, a player with twinkling feet in his early days at Tottenham, is a best example of a fall from grace. After a series of disappointing seasons at Tottenham, Dele Alli went to Everton. In Everton, he didn't do any better and was sent on loan to Besiktas. His lazy attitude and lack of effort meant only one thing: he performed even worse there. Despite being on loan, Dele Alli is proving to be quite the flop. He was left on the bench for 4 games in a row, and when he got to play, he got booed out by the fans. Besiktas tried terminating his contract, but Everton didn't want him either. It's safe to say Jose Mourinho's advice would be ringing in Dele Alli's ear right now. Number 8. Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea. Romelu Lukaku seemed like the perfect player to lead Chelsea's front line. After an impressive season with Inter Milan, Chelsea sanctioned the £100 million transfer for the Belgian striker. According to the man himself, he had unfinished business in Chelsea and was ready to set things straight. But the £100 million investment doesn't seem to be working out for Chelsea. He's lacking the strong running sharpness and physicality that made him a wanted man in recent times. You could say that Chelsea's style of play have not helped him settle in, but he's not helped himself either. To add to his poor form, Romelu Lukaku has gone on a mission of giving unsanctioned interviews, fracturing whatever little relationship he had left with the fans. Romelu Lukaku is back on loan at Inter Milan these days, but he is still yet to find his best. At least he isn't Chelsea's problem anymore. Number 7. Nicolas Pepe to Arsenal. After tearing up the Liga 1 with blistering pace and stunning tricks, Nicolas Pepe seemed like a shadow of himself at Arsenal. The guy signed for £72 million, becoming Arsenal's record signing, and scored 27 goals in over 100 matches. At the end of the 2020-2021 season, it seemed like Pepe was back to his best. But in the next season, he just scored one Premier League goal. While Pepe struggled for form, his spot in the team got seized by the very young talents like Bukayo Saka. Pepe is back at Ligue 1 in Nice, where he is doing quite well. With his contract ending in 2023, there's little chance for the Ivorian forward to stay at the Emirates. There's also no chance Arsenal will get their £72 million investment, and it's a transfer that they will always regret. He is, without a doubt, one of the biggest flops in Arsenal's history. Number 6. Paul Pogba to Manchester United. Yes, Paul Pogba is an undeniable talent for the French international team and elsewhere. But as far as Manchester United is concerned, he's been bad news. After leaving Manchester United for free, Paul Pogba rejoined the club, becoming the most expensive player in the world for £89 million. But the former Golden Boy winner never replicated his Juventus form at Old Trafford. At his best, Paul Pogba was a joy to watch. He is one of the few that could do things with the ball as they pleased. But injuries and bad press robbed Pogba of his flair and dynamism. Pogba lost his confidence in the relentless Manchester United pressure. In his time at Manchester United, Paul Pogba scored 29 goals and provided 38 assists. Paul Pogba moved back to Juventus, but there's little chance he'd be the same player he once was after leaving the Italian side the first time. Number 5. Jack Grealish to Manchester City. You know, it is difficult to remember now that Jack Grealish was one of the most talented young players in the Premier League. Many people thought he'd go on to dominate the game and become one of the best players in the world. Jack Grealish joined Manchester City from Aston Villa for £100 million in the biggest transfer in football history. He didn't quite have the best first impression. While he was a popular figure in the dressing room, the goals never seemed to come for Jack Grealish. In 81 games, Jack has only scored 8 games. Jack is now becoming more of a problem than a solution. And if things continue this way, Manchester City may have to give up on his transfer as an expensive blunder. Number 4. Aubameyang to Chelsea. After a disastrous end to his Arsenal career, Aubameyang found haven in Barcelona. In his short spell at Barcelona, Aubameyang scored 13 goals and provided an assist in 24 games. It was the bargain Chelsea thought they'd gotten when they signed the striker from Barcelona. The move made perfect sense for everyone involved. Barcelona had just signed Lewandowski, Aubameyang would have little playing time, and Chelsea needed to sign a senior striker. A player of Aubameyang's stature was perfect for that. Aubameyang would also get to work with a familiar figure in Thomas Tuchel. But Tuchel got sacked not long after Aubameyang's transfer, and things went pretty downhill. In Chelsea, Aubameyang has scored just 3 goals and 1 assist in 16 games. The new Chelsea manager doesn't seem to fancy him either. In a game against Manchester City, Aubameyang was subbed on and then subbed off again. That is the greatest sign of displeasure from any manager. The best move for him now may be to move back to Barcelona, where it was all nice and rosy. Number 3. Kaká to Real Madrid. While Real Madrid is known for its legendary players, but more often than not, there'd be a flop in between. Kaká became the most expensive player in the world when Real Madrid signed him for €67 million. But he never really lived up to his Ballon d'Or winning form. At his best, Kaká was one of the best players in the world, but successive injuries robbed him of his blistering pace. In AC Milan, Kaká scored over 77 goals and provided 63 assists, but in Real Madrid, he scored 28 goals and provided 26 assists in 4 years. Kaká fell short of confidence at Real Madrid and would later return to AC Milan. Number 2. Philippe Coutinho. For a club with the best academy in the world, Barcelona should know better than to jump onto ridiculous transfer fees, but they never seem to learn. Barcelona's had several rodeos with expensive flops, but in 2018 they made the same mistake with Felipe Coutinho. From the onset, his transfer got doomed to fail. Following a €146 million move to Barcelona, so much was expected of Felipe, but he certainly delivered nothing. Felipe was brought in to replace the legendary Iniesta, but that was the major mistake in this transfer. Coutinho was neither a central midfielder, a winger, or even a striker. He never seemed to fit into the Barcelona system. After an abysmal first season, Coutinho got loaned to Bayern Munich, where he did pretty well. In 2020, he scored a brace against Barcelona during a loan spell at Bayern Munich, compounding their misery on the €146 million transfer failure. While Coutinho had his moments, he still goes down as one of the biggest flops in Barcelona's history. Number 1. Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard got his dream move to Real Madrid in 2019 in a €100 million move, but that's where his dream ended and his nightmares began. Real Madrid brought Hazard to fill the void created by Cristiano Ronaldo, but that has certainly not been the case. In La Liga, Hazard had played over 50 games, scoring 4 goals in total. He suffered from various injury problems and has become a shadow of his former self. When he was fit, Hazard almost forgot how to play football. For Hazard, it's a case of desperate ill luck, but for Real Madrid, it's a case of another multi-million signing biting the dust. Did you enjoy this video? Let us hear your thoughts on the worst transfer you've seen. For more videos, check out the worst VAR decisions in this video. Until next time.